I tried to slip in at a good time, but there was deer in here all day. Every hour my camera just kept going off. I tried to slip in, I got in, and right before I got to my blind, there was 2 deer in the shade of this field over here. And I didn't see them till they bolted. I was looking up the hill, at the top of the hill, and they were around the corner. I should have saw them and stopped, but they didn't know what I was. They just took off there at my leaves crunch. And they didn't blow or anything. We shall see if they return. There's so many does over here. I feel like even if those 2 don't come back, there's so many more that'll come in, so. Got the LSU game on. shot on her. My GoPro missed it. It died. Mosquitoes got real bad as soon as they came in. Let's go. Deer number 2. Hopefully it looked like a good shot. She mule kicked. She was broadside. A little bit. Just a smidge quartered away. So hopefully she didn't go far. I got the G5 Mega Meat this time around. They had been in front of me for about 30 minutes, probably 20 minutes for sure, before I was able to get the camera set up pretty decent, and they were only 17 yards in front of me, most of them, so I was waiting for a good sized doe to come out. Finally a good sized doe presented herself, so I took her. Meat for the freezer, baby. Got a freezer queen. Hopefully I got it on footage. I gotta check. I'm nervous. First shot on camera. It looked like everything went smoothly. We'll see. Alright, y'all. I hope you appreciate my first video that I got for self-filming a deer hunt. It's a lot harder than I ever would have guessed. They make it look easy on YouTube, but it's really hard. The movement you got to do to not be seen, especially when there's a bunch of deer in front of you, stuff like that. But let's just get down to the brass tacks, right? I did not get that doe. I looked and looked and looked. So as you can see in the slow-mo, she was quartered away a touch. If you look at the flight of the arrow, where I was sitting in the blind to how she was standing facing, south, I tucked it in right behind the shoulder, quartered away. I got a pass through. I didn't recover my arrow. I could not find it. That grass is super tall. For whatever reason, my nock didn't light up, so it was even more difficult to find or try to find. And I'm just really sick about it. Like, it sucks so bad because to hit a deer like where you practice, how you practice, and then not to be able to recover that deer and give it the grace that it deserves to, feed your family, which is why I hunt, is to feed my family, then I don't, it tears me up inside. I respect these animals so much that I hate to see a deer, be injured for no reason or go to waste or, whatever. But I did my due diligence on trying to find this deer. So about 30 minutes after the shot, I went and looked for my arrow. Could not find it anywhere. As you can see in the video, she mule kicked, took off. It looked like a really good shot. I went and started looking for my arrow. Couldn't find it. So then I was like, okay, well, let me find first blood. So about 7 to 10 yards away from where I shot her, she mule kicked. You could see she got up pretty high and she took off through the woods. She went in right by where my camera was at. And I found first blood right there by my camera. So I said, okay, so I marked it on Onyx and backed out, went to the truck, collected my thoughts, replayed the shot in my head, just knowing that it was a good shot from what I saw. I hadn't watched the video at that point. I just knew like I hit where I wanted to. She mule kicked, and I just knew I was going to find her 30, 40, 50 yards in the wood line. So I backed out at the truck, which was about, I don't know, 400 or 500 yards away. And I was waiting, and I was like, well, I'll be able to go. Have my other buddies were hunting, so I was like, I'll be able to go get her out. She won't be far, and I'll load her up in the truck and go get her taken care of. So after walking all the way back to the truck, hanging out there for a little while, and then walking back to First Blood, it had been about 45 minutes to an hour. So I was like, she should be dead and gone. I went and started trailing the blood. good blood. I mean, she was squirting, splashing all over the bushes and the trees and the leaves. And I was like, oh yeah, she about to be right around the corner at any second. And start looking, and following the blood, following the blood. I followed it for about 50 yards and to a dry riverbed or dry creek bed. And right on the other side of that creek bed, it started about 10 yards on the other side of that creek bed. It started getting less and less blood. And I'm like, huh, she's got to be here somewhere. So I'm looking. I don't see her. It's super thick on the other side of this creek. The other side of this creek is very overgrown and thick stuff. And it's already dark in the woods, very low light conditions. But I got my headlamp. I'm looking. I can't find her. So I just keep following the little blood trail a little bit further. I get to about, I don't know, another 10 yards from that. And it's starting to get real, real dark now. And I'm like, man, maybe if she's not dead yet, she might not be dead yet. Like, if she's not here already. So I give another good sweep around that area, and I don't see her. I don't hear nothing. I don't hear no movement or walking or nothing. So, or running. So I'm like, well, maybe she's not dead yet. I said, maybe I should back out a little bit, give her a little bit more time. Now, at this point, it's been about an hour and a half, almost pushing 2 hours. So I back all the way out, go to the truck, call my buddy. He was just getting out of the woods, finishing up his hunt, and he's like, well, you need help? And I said, yeah, I need help. I can't find her. She didn't die as soon as I thought she was. I don't know where she's at. Blood kind of drying up a little bit. So he's like, all right, I'm on the way. So he hunts about an hour away. So by the time he made it to me, she had been shot 2.5 hours ish timeline. So he pulls up, we go back in, we trail the blood, get to where I was at, and make it a little bit further, another 10, 15 yards past that. And I mean, I'm talking no blood. We marked last blood, and there's nothing left. We're spick spack here and there. We're on our hands and knees crawling, looking for the smallest drop in the blood. And we ended up not finding blood for a while, but we found some fresh deer scat. It was still wet, We're like, that's got to be her. She got to be leaking it out. Um, what do we do? So we decided we were going to try to back out a little bit, and then as we were backing out, we kind of saw some more stuff. So we just kind of kept checking it out. Next thing you know, we get to an open field. We found blood again. After 30 minutes, 45 minutes on our hands and knees looking, find blood again, and it leads us to an open field. We get to this field, and now she's opened back up. There's blood everywhere. We're like, oh yeah, okay, she's definitely gonna be dead in this field. So sure enough, we pull up, and there she is laying in the field, and we're like, oh my gosh, we got her. Like, this is crazy. At this point, it had been two and a half hours after the shot, and from where you can see the shot placement, you would think that that's a completely deceased deer. So she's laying in the field. We get up close to her, and we're looking at her, and we're like, I think she's still alive. Like, and of course, I didn't have my bow with me. My bow was half a mile back, and at the truck, because I just knew she was going to be dead. I had no reason to believe that she was even going to still be alive, and that this was an issue. And that's my fault. I haven't hunted long enough. This is only my third season hunting, so I haven't had enough experience to know, but lesson learned. Like, anytime I trail a deer, I'm going to have my bow with me just in case. But we're about 10, 15 yards from her, and we're looking at her, and we realize she's still alive. And I was like, man, I'll put her out of her misery. I have my pistol on me, and in the state of Louisiana, like, if you come across a wounded deer that you shot, you are allowed to use your pistol to put it out of suffering. So we were verifying the law in our area and making sure that that was indeed the case. And as we were doing that, she jumps up and takes off and like runs right at us. So I, out of instinct, just army, I pull and shoot just because it scared me, to be honest. And I missed her. So I guess that goes to my army training. I'm good with this, not this, but scared me. I pulled, shot. She took off running, and I knew I didn't hit her because I didn't see her flinch or anything like that. But anyway, so I holstered back up, and we just kind of standing around like what to do. She ran the direction that we came from, but on the road instead of through the woods. So we're like, well, even if we want to back out all the way, we're probably gonna push her off by just going the way she went. So we look at the blood. She's still bleeding. We look at the blood and follow her into the woods where she goes, and it just dried up again. There was nothing. So we spent another 30 minutes. At this point, we have been looking for her, or I have been total looking for her from 6:30 to this now 10 o'clock. So 3.5 hours at this point. And so we decided once we couldn't find no more blood, my buddy's light died. We were like, let's just go ahead and back out. I'm gonna come back in the first thing in the morning, first light, and try to find her. It was cool enough to where if I found her early in the morning, that it would have been salvageable as long as the coyotes didn't get to her or nothing like that. So I felt sick to my stomach. I backed out and go to the house. Can't really sleep. I go review the footage on the computer, just thinking like, did I shoot her bad? Was it too far back? Was it this? Was it that? I don't know. And so it was really eating at me. So I reviewed the footage. I put it in slow motion. I could see my arrow flight and everything. As you saw in the video, from a quartered away shot, she wasn't hard quartered, but she had a good little angle to her. I feel like I put it in a good spot to kill the vital. So two theories that I have is that either A, my mechanical just didn't deploy, which it was a mega meet, so I was very confused. I'd be very surprised if that was the case, but it does happen. Maybe it just didn't deploy all the way, and I know I got to pass through because if you look at the video real close, you can see the grass part behind her after it penetrates her. So I'm thinking that, I know it did for sure pass through her, but if the blaze didn't deploy and it just kind of cut through some non-vital stuff, then, she's bleeding, but she's still alive and she's good. So the other theory that I thought of was that, the blaze did deploy, but however, when it went in, it might have hit a rib, or the angle she was at, it might have caught the backside of her shoulder and jutted out the opposite direction into no man's land, as they call it. And if that's the case, I came in through the ribs, but if I didn't get all that penetration into the vitals yet, and it jutted out of no man's land, yeah, she's gonna bleed a little bit, but she's gonna be good. So those are my two theories of why I didn't find that deer on a shot that I put in a very good place, according to what I thought, the research I've done, the buddies I've sent it to who've hunted way longer than I have. Everybody said that should be a dead deer, but I just couldn't find her. So I know she was hurt, but when she jumped up and ran at us, man, it was she was full of life. So I don't know. It is kind of surprised she let us get that close. So I know she was hurting a little bit, but it is what it is. I'm not gonna let this shy me away from hunting or nothing like that. That's not who I am. I do respect these animals and I love these animals. So it does hurt my heart, but at the same time, it's part of the game. When you're shooting an arrow at a deer, so many things can go wrong. I don't think it hit any grass in the way. You can see it kind of blow by some grass in the slow mo, but can't tell. It's kind of too fuzzy if it actually hit the grass and maybe maneuvered it a little bit or whatever. I don't know, but that's just part of the game. So it's Friday. We're gonna give it heck this weekend and go try and get us another one. So stay tuned. I appreciate y'all for watching. Hit that follow, subscribe, and come on the journey with me. I appreciate it. Peace.